My first name is Bernard. Bernard. It means brave. I don't know who gives meaning to names because I don't think I'm brave at all. I was born in Haiti. In 2008, I was a chaplain at Wesley Hospital in Wichita, Kansas. And I was the only chaplain for the whole hospital that night. My beeper vibrated. And I checked it out. It was a code blue. That means whatever you are doing, you need to leave that to go to the place where they mentioned. I was supposed to go to ICU, 3rd floor. When I get there was a man, a Caucasian guy, wealthy. They are waiting on the chaplain to come so that he can pass from life to death. In order for the chaplain to care for the family. Who was the chaplain? Bernard. I was there asking myself, are you really the chaplain that they were waiting on? Because this guy, there was a time I could not even open his door for him to get in with his car. And from that point on, I started to ask myself a question. Who am I? And I wanted to interview my mom. I wanted to have a little talk with my dad. When I looked on the left and on the right, they were not there. In a 2-year window, I lost both since I was 13 and 15. At that time, my Calvary started. I stopped going to school for 5 years. I did not have anyone to help me out. I did not have family. I did not have food. I did not have fellowship. I did not have fun. I was basically on my own. I witnessed injustices in Haiti, all kinds of injustices. Social injustices, economical injustices, political injustices. And I wanted to be a lawyer so that I can help those who are in those situations. Here I am, not being able to go to school for 5 years. My life was over. I did not have any hope at all. And I wanted someone to love me, to adopt me, to show me compassion, love, and care. Didn't have that. Until one day, I was doing ironworks to someone's place. He looked at me and said, "You are young to do this kind of job. Why don't you go to school?" And I said, "I would love to go, but I do not have anybody to help me out." After 5 years, without being able to go to school, I was humiliated by my friends, those with whom I used to go to school, and I was hiding because I didn't want anybody to see me. He said to me, "I'm going to help you out." When I start now the new school, after 5 years, they put me in the next grade. But because for those 5 years, I've been going over and over the same notebooks that I have years ago. It seems like it was yesterday for me. And I started to go like this. And very quickly, I'm done with secondary school. But as I was there, everybody said, "You look like a pastor." I said, "Pastor? No, For some people, I look like a priest." I said, "Priest?" I said, I want to be part of the church, but not that kind of responsibility. And I remember my dad gave me a Bible since I was 13 now. And I started to think that, remember you saw all those kind of injustices? You wanted to be a lawyer? And then I went to the School of Law. That's what I want to be. But still, there is an empty space in my heart. And I remember Blaise Pascal, a philosopher of 18th century, he said, in every person's life, there is an empty space that nothing or nobody else but God can fill. And I started to understand why I was on my own. I started to comprehend when I was on the storms of life, there was someone who came to rescue me. I started to understand when I did not have any friend at all, there was someone. That's the reason. Everyone who comes my way, I believe it is a divine appointment. It's either for me to teach that person something, or either to learn something from that person. And after I'm done with school in Haiti, I started to work in the human rights field until I met a lady in my office who was a Mennonite. He was working with MCC. And that lady was different from anybody else. And I was at that time in the Baptist church. And I was like, how come you are different? And she says, I don't know. And I said, do you go to church? She says, yes. I said, what kind of church is that? He said, Mennonite. I said, Mennonite? What is that? And she doesn't know how to explain the Mennonite church to me. I said, okay. When I go to US, I will find out for myself. Until I was in Florida, I couldn't find a Mennonite church. I moved to Kansas City. I couldn't find a Mennonite church. I said, that church does not exist. And I went online and I sent something, and then John Kaufman replied. He said, oh, by the way, there is a Mennonite church not too far from where you live. And I will come and show you that church. He came down and he brought me to Argentine Mennonite Church in Kansas. That's where I'm gonna meet my people. That's where I'm gonna feel loved for the first time. And that's where my life will turn into someone who feel like, yes, among those white guys, as a black guy, I feel like I am loved. And for that reason, that gives me the confidence that I can go further. Today, I have a PhD. This is not the kind of PhD that you are thinking about. My PhD is not a degree. To follow Christ, I become patient. Now I have hope and determination. Blessings to you.